Welcome, beautiful damsels. The greatest fools are those who waste their lives in pursuit of things that don't even matter. This quote rings especially true in the world of Sigma females, where logic, self-awareness, and authenticity reign supreme. In a society obsessed with fitting in, chasing trends, and impressing strangers, Sigma females stand as a stark contrast, questioning everything that the masses blindly accept. They see through the absurdities that others take for granted, shrugging off the nonsense with a quiet, unshakable confidence. Today, we're diving into the 10 ridiculous things that simply don't make sense to Sigma females, things that the rest of the world might be too distracted to even notice. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will shatter illusions and challenge the very fabric of what most people call normal. Number 1. Trying to impress strangers. Trying to impress strangers is one of those absurdities that Sigma females find utterly baffling. The idea of going out of your way to gain the approval of people who don't even know your name, or worse, who you'll probably never see again, seems like a colossal waste of time. It's like polishing your shoes before wading through a muddy field. Sure, you might get a nod of approval, but does it really matter when the moment is so fleeting? Sigma females understand that the opinions of strangers hold about as much weight as a feather in a windstorm. They don't care if the person in the next aisle at the grocery store thinks they're stylish or if a passerby finds them charming. Why? Because they know these interactions are as temporary as a Snapchat story. By the time you're done worrying about it, that stranger has probably already forgotten your existence. The truth is, Sigma females reserve their energy for things that actually matter, like their own goals, personal growth, and meaningful relationships. They know that trying to impress someone who doesn't know or care about the real you is a fool's errand. If someone's going to like them, it'll be for who they genuinely are, not for some curated facade designed to please the unimportant masses. And if they don't like them, well, that's their problem, not the Sigma females. They're too busy living life on their own terms to worry about collecting meaningless points from people who aren't even in the game. Number 2. Being misjudged as boring because of quietness. When people misjudge Sigma females as boring just because they're quiet, it's like assuming a book is dull because the cover doesn't have fireworks on it. To a Sigma, this kind of shallow thinking is laughable. They know that silence often speaks louder than words, and that depth isn't something you flaunt. It's something you carry within. Sigma females are observers, the type who take in everything around them without the need to fill the air with chatter. They're the ones who notice the details everyone else misses, the subtle shifts in tone, the unspoken tension in a room, the real meaning behind the words. But instead of constantly broadcasting their thoughts, they prefer to let others reveal who they are first. It's a strategic choice, not a sign of dullness. The funny part is, people who rush to label them as boring usually end up missing out on what makes Sigmas so fascinating. They don't realize that while they're busy talking, the Sigma female is quietly analyzing, processing, and understanding things on a level that's miles deeper. And when she finally does speak, it's often with an insight that cuts right to the core, a moment that leaves the talkative ones scrambling to keep up. So, when someone mistakes a Sigma's quietness for lack of personality, it's almost comical. It's like standing in front of a vault full of treasure and complaining because the door isn't open. Sigma females know that their silence is just the tip of the iceberg, and those who can't see beyond it probably wouldn't appreciate what's beneath the surface anyway. In the end, they're fine with letting the noisemakers keep their assumptions, while they continue to move through life with a calm, confident, and unshakable sense of self. Number 3. Going back to an ex. Going back to an ex is something Sigma females find completely ridiculous, almost like trying to revive a wilted plant with soda instead of water. It's not going to end well. They understand that an ex is an ex for a reason, and once a relationship has run its course, there's no sense in trying to drag it back to life. In their world, moving forward is the only direction that makes any sense. Sigma females don't dwell on the past, and they certainly don't romanticize it. They see the flaws, the red flags, and the fundamental incompatibilities that led to the breakup in the first place. Trying to reignite that old flame feels more like digging through the garbage than rekindling a lost love. To them, it's like revisiting a chapter in a book that didn't end well. Why would anyone willingly reread something that left them feeling unsatisfied? They know that true growth comes from learning, not repeating the same mistakes. Sigma females value their personal evolution too much to backtrack into a situation that's already proven to be a dead end. Plus, they're not interested in settling for something familiar just because it's comfortable. They'd rather embrace the unknown and all the potential it holds than slip back into a relationship that's already shown its true colors. And let's be honest, going back to an ex is often just a way to delay the inevitable, a temporary bandage on a wound that needs to heal on its own. Sigma females aren't interested in quick fixes or second chances that are likely to end the same way as the first. They're focused on finding something better, something that aligns with who they are now, not who they used to be. So when someone suggests getting back with an ex, they can't help but shake their heads and move on, knowing that their future holds much more promise than anything from their past ever could. Number 4, recording live events on your phone. Recording live events on your phone is one of those things that Sigma females just don't get. To them, it's like bringing a picnic to a 5-star restaurant. You're missing the whole point. When you're at a concert, a breathtaking sunset, or even just a dinner with friends, the experience is meant to be lived, not filtered through a tiny screen. Sigma females are all about being fully present in the moment. They understand that no video or photo can ever truly capture the energy, the emotion, or the magic of what's happening right in front of you. When you're too busy trying to get the perfect shot, you're not actually there. You're a spectator in your own life, watching it unfold through a lens instead of living it. They also know that most of those videos will end up gathering digital dust on your phone, forgotten as soon as the next event rolls around. Why sacrifice the richness of the experience just to create a mediocre recording that won't do it justice anyway? Sigma females would rather have the memory ingrained in their minds and hearts, unfiltered and authentic, than a shaky video that doesn't even come close to the real thing. And let's be real. What are you going to do with that recording? Show it to people who weren't there and expect them to feel the same excitement you felt. Sigma females know that's a losing game. They'd rather be the ones who can describe an event with such vivid detail and emotion that others feel like they were there, all without a single piece of technology involved. At number 5, prioritizing quantity over quality in relationships. Prioritizing quantity over quality in relationships is something Sigma females find utterly nonsensical, like trading a gourmet meal for a cheap buffet. They know that when it comes to relationships, it's not about how many people you know, but about the depth and meaning of those connections. For them, a few strong, genuine relationships are worth more than 100 shallow ones. Sigma females aren't interested in collecting acquaintances like their Pokemon cards. They're not out to impress anyone with the size of their social circle. Instead, they focus on nurturing connections that truly matter, those rare relationships where they can be their authentic selves, without the need for small talk or surface-level pleasantries. They prefer the kind of bonds where you can sit in comfortable silence and still feel completely understood. They understand that quality relationships require time, effort, and a level of emotional investment that simply isn't possible when you're spreading yourself too thin. They'd rather invest deeply in a handful of people who truly get them than exhaust themselves trying to keep up with everyone. The idea of maintaining dozens of superficial relationships just to have more people to text or hang out with feels like a chore, not a reward. Sigma females also recognize that quantity often leads to diluted experiences. When you're constantly juggling a large number of people, it's easy to miss out on the richness and depth that comes from truly knowing someone. They'd rather have 1 or 2 friends who can have deep, meaningful conversations than a crowd of people who barely scratch the surface. Number 6, fearing judgment from strangers. Fearing judgment from strangers is something Sigma females find completely absurd, almost like stressing over a fictional character's opinion of you. To them, it's baffling how much energy people waste worrying about what others think, especially when those others are complete strangers who barely register on the radar of their lives. Sigma females have mastered the art of not giving a damn about the opinions of people who don't actually matter. They know that everyone is so caught up in their own lives that they barely have time to truly judge anyone else. And even if they do, so what? A stranger's opinion holds about as much weight as a random comment on the internet, fleeting and forgettable. They understand that living your life based on the expectations or judgments of others is a surefire way to lose your sense of self. Sigma females refuse to let the thoughts of people who don't know them dictate how they act, dress, or live. They'd rather be true to themselves, even if it means standing out or being misunderstood, than conforming just to fit into someone else's idea of normal. What makes it even more ridiculous to Sigma females is the realization that most people are too busy worrying about how they're being perceived to actually spend much time judging others. It's a cycle of unnecessary anxiety that Sigma females simply opt out of. They know that life is far too short to be spent in the shadow of someone else's opinions, especially when those opinions are based on superficial observations rather than genuine understanding. For Sigma females, the only opinions that matter are their own, and those of the select few they truly care about. Everyone else's judgment is just noise, easily ignored and quickly forgotten. They live by their own standards, confident in who they are and what they stand for, without ever losing sleep over what some random stranger might think. Number 7. Overcomplicating simple tasks. Overcomplicating simple tasks is something Sigma females just can't wrap their heads around. To them, it's like turning a 2-step recipe into a 5-course meal, unnecessary and a complete waste of time. They believe that if something can be done simply, it should be done simply. Why add extra steps, layers, or drama to something that's already straightforward? Sigma females have a knack for cutting through the fluff and getting straight to the point. They're not interested in overthinking or over-engineering every little thing. Whether it's planning a day out or solving a problem, they go for the most efficient and effective route. They don't see the point in making a task more complicated than it needs to be. Unless, of course, you're aiming to frustrate yourself and waste time. They also have a low tolerance for people who turn the simplest things into a saga. If a Sigma female sees someone turning a quick decision into an endless debate, she's likely to step in and streamline the process, sometimes with a bluntness that catches others off guard. It's not that they're impatient. It's just that they see how much time and energy can be saved by just getting to the point. In the world of a Sigma female, less is more, and simplicity is key. They believe that life is already complicated enough without us adding to the chaos. By keeping things simple, they make room for what really matters: focus, clarity, and a sense of accomplishment. And let's be honest, when you're not bogged down by unnecessary complexity, you're free to spend more time on the things that actually bring joy and fulfillment. So when others are busy turning molehills into mountains, Sigma females are already at the top, wondering why everyone else is still struggling with the climb. For them, simplicity isn't just a strategy, it's a way of life. They know that the best solutions are often the simplest ones, and they live by that rule in everything they do. Number 8. Compromising personal values for social acceptance. Compromising personal values for social acceptance is something Sigma females find utterly nonsensical, like trading in your favorite well-worn leather jacket for a trendy, uncomfortable piece that doesn't even fit. They know who they are, what they stand for, and they're not about to let anyone or anything shake that foundation just to blend in or make others feel more comfortable. Sigma females understand that personal values are non-negotiable. They're the core of who you are. Compromising them for the sake of fitting in with a crowd or avoiding awkwardness is like giving away your identity for free. And Sigma females don't do cheap trades. They know that the moment you start bending your principles to please others, you lose a piece of yourself, and that's a price they're never willing to pay. What's the point of being accepted by others if you're not being true to yourself? Sigma females see through the illusion of social acceptance. They recognize that any approval gained at the expense of authenticity is shallow and fleeting. If people don't accept you for who you really are, Sigma females would argue that their approval isn't worth having in the first place. They'd rather stand alone with their integrity intact than be surrounded by people who only like the version of them that's been watered down and dressed up to fit in. They also know that compromising your values doesn't just affect you. It sends a message to others that it's okay to do the same. Sigma females refuse to be part of that cycle. They lead by example, showing that it's possible and essential to stay true to your beliefs, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. Number 9. Chasing material success at the expense of personal happiness. Chasing material success at the expense of personal happiness is something that makes no sense to Sigma females, like running a marathon in designer heels. Sure, you might look good, but at what cost? For them, the whole point of success is to enhance your life, not strip it of joy. They see the endless pursuit of material wealth as a trap, one that can easily lead you down a path where you're rich in things, but poor in spirit. Sigma females value substance over flash. They're not impressed by fancy cars, big houses, or designer labels if those things come with a side of misery or emptiness. To them, the real wealth lies in experiences, relationships, and the peace of mind that comes from living life on your own terms. They understand that happiness isn't something you can buy, no matter how much money you throw at it. They also know that material success is a moving target. You get one thing, and suddenly there's something else you need to feel fulfilled. It's a never-ending cycle, and Sigma females want no part of it. They prefer to set their own standards for success, ones that aren't dictated by society's obsession with wealth and status. For them, success is about doing what you love, being with people who make your life better, and having the freedom to live authentically. What really baffles them is seeing people sacrifice their health, relationships, and well-being just to climb the corporate ladder or amass more stuff. To a Sigma female, that's the equivalent of winning the game but losing your soul in the process. They'd rather have a modest life filled with meaning than a luxurious one that's hollow at its core. Number 10. Drama and gossip. Drama and gossip are things Sigma females find utterly baffling, like trying to follow a soap opera plot while watching a cooking show, completely out of place. They see no value in the petty squabbles and behind-the-back chatter that seem to consume so many people's lives. For them, life's too short to waste energy on drama that doesn't add any real substance to their world. Sigma females prefer their conversations to be about ideas, interests, and actual life experiences, not about who's dating whom or who wore what to a party. They find it mind-numbing how much time people spend spinning stories and stirring pots instead of engaging in meaningful, genuine discussions. To them, gossip is like fast food, immediately satisfying, but ultimately leaving you feeling empty and unsatisfied. They also know that drama and gossip are often a distraction from more important things. It's easy to get caught up in someone else's mess if you're avoiding dealing with your own issues. Sigma females would rather focus on their personal growth and goals than get entangled in someone else's soap opera. They see through the facade of drama as a poor substitute for real, fulfilling relationships and conversations. For Sigma females, being surrounded by gossip mongers and drama queens is about as appealing as being stuck in a never-ending loop of reality TV reruns. They'd rather surround themselves with people who value depth and authenticity, who bring positivity and constructive dialogue to their lives. They see drama for what it is, a waste of time and a drain on their mental energy. In the end, Sigma females are all about keeping it real and staying true to what really matters. They're not interested in playing along with the latest gossip or fueling the drama. Instead, they'd rather spend their time on things that actually enhance their lives, finding joy in genuine connections and meaningful pursuits. For them, drama is just noise, something to be turned off in favor of a more fulfilling and authentic existence. If you enjoyed diving into the world of Sigma females and finding out what makes them tick, don't let the fun stop here. Hit that subscribe button like it's the last piece of pizza at a party, because who wouldn't want more insights that make you see the world a little differently? Join the crew, and let's keep the conversation going. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Take care and bye.